Hi there, welcome to my tutorial on how to use the accordion lesson type in H5p. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can use the accordion in your online course, why the accordion lesson type is really effective and useful when you're designing your online course, and how fun and easy adding the accordion lesson type to your course can make it more effective and more engaging for your learners. So let's get started. Before I go into the actual tutorial, feel free to check out my other video on the H5p interactive video. It might be really helpful to sort of look that over so that you can sort of reference other H5p tools that are really helpful to engage your learners. So let's get started. The accordion tool is one of the many options in H5p. What I really like using it for is when you're teaching a subject and you really want to hone in on like the foundation and fundamentals of a topic. So one of the examples that I like to give is like, let's just say you're teaching basic concepts about nutrition. So in terms of like, sugar, carbohydrates, it's sort of like a multiple choice, but in a more in-depth way. So accordion is really great because it sort of allows students to sort of learn more about a topic with more depth, more context, and it's also more than just a video. So it kind of helps in your course break things up. If you think about learners who get really fatigued or bored, a lot of times they just need variety and they need to be stimulated and different sensory modalities to be engaged. So let's get started with this tutorial. So the first thing is you want to give your lesson a title, and I am going to just give this a title on basics of sugar, basics of sugar health. So I'm going to teach in this lesson what kinds of sugars, if I'm teaching nutrition, what are safe sugars and what are not safe sugars. So I'm going to give this a title because this is my lesson title, and then I'm going to start talking about safe versus non-safe sugars. So first, I want to give this talk about give this a little bit of a description. And so I'm going to say this lesson will be all about safe and unsafe sugars. And now I can sort of build, if you think about the metaphor or visual metaphor of an accordion, it's just kind of expanding. We're just sort of going to build this accordion in the same way. So I've built the first element of my accordion and I want to continue to expand it. So I want to click on Add Panel and then talk about unsafe sugars. And I'll say here, unsafe sugars include artificial sugars, non-fruit sugars, and include sweet and low, stevia. Just, this is just for fun. I'm not really an expert on sugars. I'm just kind of making this up. But you get the idea is that I want to sort of keep building it. So now I'm just putting some dummy text in there on unsafe sugars. And then I'm going to continue on with the accordion and say like safe sugars. And say, well, safe sugars include X, Y, and Z. So this then becomes bigger and bigger. Now, the question some people might ask me is, how big do I want to make my accordion? Because obviously the accordion is very expansive, but you don't want to make it too expensive. Then the learners get bored and they get tired or fatigued. You want to sort of think about a balance of enough versus too much. So that kind of midway point of like, how much do I really need to put in my accordion to sort of hone in and convey the lesson around safe versus unsafe sugar. So I would say, there is no algorithm, unfortunately. I think a lot of it is very intuitive. And so listen to sort of how you feel, listen to your students, gauge how they're responding to your teaching, how they're responding to your content. When are they sort of bottoming out? When are they sort of losing momentum? And that's a good way to sort of gauge that kind of balance of how much is enough versus too much. So I'm just going to add a little bit more because I feel like there's a lot more I want to say about sugars. And so I can keep saying better sugars and say these are better sugars to consume, X, Y, and Z. Oh. And then the last thing in this tutorial is the H tags for the labels. So as you can see, there's options of H2, H3, and H4. And so what this means is for referencing style and aesthetic of these headlines, these title for these lessons. And so H2, H3, H4 is sort of like heading 2, heading 3, and heading 4. So H2 would be the largest of the 3 options, and then it gets smaller as you go down. So you want to sort of test this out. And so let's just try H2 and just see how we like it and how it looks in our course. And then if we think the title is too big, then we can scale down and choose H heading 3 and or heading 4. So now that this is, this is kind of a fun, demo this for now, let's just save this and then test this out in my Thinkific LMS and give you a chance to sort of preview how it looks so you can see how the accordion can be fun in a lesson. So now, before I go on and put this in my LMS, I just want to show you how it looks. So this is safe versus unsafe sugars, unsafe sugars, safe sugars, and better sugars. So as you can see, this is kind of a neat way to sort of teach the concept of sugar health to someone, sort of like in this accordion style where they can just click and learn a little bit more about safe versus unsafe sugars, and then chunk down into what are unsafe sugars, what are safe sugars, and last, what are better sugars to be consuming. So now that this looks good to me, if I'm happy with this and I don't want to make any changes, I'm just going to click on this and then go to publish. And then here again, the options of unpublished, protected, and public. So I am going to keep this as protected because I'm not interested in sharing this and publishing this in the h5p community, and I just kind of wanted to use this in my own course rather than have this content to be shared. So I'm just making sure the protected is clicked and then selected, and then click on update. And then now I can embed this into my LMS. So I've talked about how you can embed this, but the other option I wanted to share is that you can download this as an h5p file and then upload it to a website or LMS that offers hosting. So my Thinkific LMS does not offer hosting, but if you're on a WordPress site that has hosting, then you can upload this h5p file on there and then it'll embed. But since I am using an LMS that doesn't offer hosting or iframeable content, I want to then just use the embed code and copy the link. So in this example, I previously wanted to use protected, but because my LMS doesn't allow for the embed, I'm going to have to go with the public option. And so I will copy the embed code and then copy it over into my LMS and show you what it looks like. So I'm going to take a previously used lesson in my Thinkific LMS and just replace the link that's existing here. If you are new to this and you want to know the exact steps, you go to Add Lesson and then click on Multimedia and then just say New Demo 2 and then paste the link that I copied earlier. Oh, I didn't copy it all, but so I'll paste it here. And then I'm going to remove everything at the end, all the way up until this embed, and make sure the quotation is gone. And then remove this in the front as well. And then click save. So now it's saved. Now let's take a look at how this looks when I'm enrolled in this course. So we're going to look for new demo 2. So I'm going to move my little bubble over and look for new demo 2. And so make sure this link looks accurate. Click on save. And then we can preview this as an enrolled student. Looking for new demo 2, as you see down here. And there you go. These are the content from my Basics of Sugar Health lesson. And so my accordion works. And students can sort of click through that and sort of learn a little bit more about safe and unsafe sugars. And then if they're done, they'll click on complete and continue, and then be taken back to the first lesson, which is not completed. So that's an overview of the accordion lesson in h5p. If you have any other h5p requests, questions, comments, thoughts about other questions about other learning tools, authoring tools, feel free to let me know. Thanks again for watching. Give the video a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.